Jeff Bezos called me to buy my company.
You serious?
Personally called me to buy my company. And Amazon's a bookstore. I'm reading about you in Wall Street Journal. You're losing $1 million a day. I'm making money. You know, why would I possibly sell to you for your worthless stock?
Right.
You know, that was about a $700 million mistake.
Oh my God. You still regret that, or did you get over it?
Yeah, no, I totally regret it.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. Welcome back to the show, guys. Got with me someone who is always there before everyone else, Belcher. How's it going, man?
Man, it's good. Good. I like the digs down here. This is great.
Yeah, it's a great spot. But dude, I'm really impressed with your story, really impressed with what you do and how you're there before everyone. How are you pulling this off?
Oh man, I don't know. I've always just been, I think I'm the most curious guy in the room. You know, I always want to know what's happening next, how that connects to other things. I just form a lot of opinions. I learn differently than a lot of people. I didn't really recognize it. Like I've got a business partner, Qasim Islam, who's brilliant, by the way. And he said, you have the oddest learning process. So he had me one time on a mastermind call to really document, like, when you decide you want to learn something, what do you do? And I buy every book available. Most are garbage. You know, you scan and you throw away, but a few you pick up. I try to get a hold of those authors that try to form a relationship with them in those few books that I find are really good. I dive YouTube now, man. The best money I ever spent in my life was $11 for
the ad blocker.
Yeah, the ad blocker for YouTube. Because, man, there's amazing stuff on there if you dig. You can find some really amazing stuff of, you know, really very futuristic thinking. And some of it's crazy. You know, you got to, it's one thing I don't think AI is ever going to be able to do is just totally erase all the, you know, but there's a lot of it's crazy nuttiness. But, boy, there's a lot of brilliance on there. And it's very up to date, right?
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts. And then try to go to a conference or two. And I'll do all that within like a 60-day period. And then when I think I've got where I'm at, I sort of sit down and write myself a little book, you know, about that subject. And I'll test some of those theories. And if they're good, maybe I teach them or I use them or I apply them to my portfolio companies, you know. So I don't really consult anymore. I used to do a lot of consulting. Yeah. But now I just have companies I own small pieces of. So I'll just disseminate that information down to the portfolio companies that I work with and to try to help them grow and in turn maybe make a buck, you know?
Yeah, I think taking equity in companies, that's how billionaires are made, right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, heard somebody say the other day that rich people invest in, you know, made most of their money in real estate and wealthy people make most of their money in business exits. And weirdly enough, Kamal Ravikant is my friend, is Naval's brother, lives here in town, great friend. And he called me not too long ago and he said, hey man, I got to go throw $10,000 in this thing. Hurry up. You know, you got 30 minutes, you know. So I was doing it and I let my profile, I guess, expire at AngelList. So I had to redo it. And I'm frantically trying to redo my profile while I'm trying to put this money in this thing. And one of the top questions was, you know, what's the source of your wealth? Yeah. How much money you got, you know, what's your source of your wealth? And the number one thing was business exit. So I called Kamal and asked him about it. I said, do you think that's accidental? He said he didn't know for sure. But so I started digging, and about more than 60% of ultra high net worth individuals, people worth over $30 million, over 60% in the U.S., that was as a result of a business exit.
Wow.
18% was a result of inheritance, which is likely the result of business exit.
So it's like 80% then.
Yeah, so it's something like by the time you get down to who earns to $30 million, who like just earns, accumulates, saves $30 million, it's a very small percentage of people. And then in them, you've got lottery winners and pro athletes and actors and singers, rappers, you know, performers, people of extraordinary talent, of which I'm clearly not, you know, even though I have this jacket sort of. So I think the odds are against you accumulating really high net worth wealth unless you exit. Right. So, and for me, I'm not a good business operator. I'm a good business starter. You know, I'm a good founder. I'm allowed.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Guys, you ever feel like money's just flying out of your account? Well, this app might be able to help you because there's something called subscriptions that are eating at your bank account every single month. And there's apps you don't know about. Delivery apps, streaming services, you name it. You're probably getting charged a monthly fee by a lot of companies and you don't even know. You can see all your subscriptions in one place on the Rocket Money app, and you can cancel all the unwanted subscriptions with one tap. They'll even try to get you a refund for the last couple of months and negotiate your bills to be even lower by up to 20%. All you got to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that basically finds and cancels unwanted subscriptions. They help you monitor your spending, and they help you lower your bills. Rocket Money has been a great experience for me personally. They've saved me money, hundreds of dollars on bills. They were able to go through all of my credit cards, all of my bank statements, see what I was paying for on a monthly basis. And I found a ton of stuff that I don't even use, honestly. I had an Xbox Game Pass that was being charged monthly. I don't even play games. That one was years old. And they also lowered some of my bills. My phone bill and my Wi-Fi bill were pretty high. They were over $150 a month, and they were able to cut down on those prices. So all in all, shout out to Rocket Money, great product. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/DSH. That's rocketmoney.com/DSH. Link will be in the description below.
I'll see. I'm not a CEO or any of those things. I'm not on the C-suite of any company that I invest in.
Too stressful, man.
Oh, it's crazy. And those people just have a different mindset. You know, they typically are, I call them farmer brains, you know, and founders have hunter brains. And I think that we desperately need high functioning farmers to run our businesses. But farmers generally can't. I always say that guy could run a McDonald's, but he couldn't run McDonald's. You know, there's a different thing, you know, if they have a system to run within and a framework and they know, you know, they can run a business really much better than I can,
right?
You know, and I find them to be incredibly valuable. But as far as, you know, creating the vision for the business and finding a hole in the marketplace and the proper offer, and
visionary. You need an Elon Musk for that. Yeah,
and I do that pretty well. But I don't do. Unfortunately, when you do that really well, you typically don't do anything else very well.
Yeah,
you know? So I don't do much of anything else well other than that.
At least you know your strengths, because I feel like people try to be good at everything.
Oh, I don't at all.
And it backfires.
I make no attempt at it. In fact, if I'm not good at something, I make no attempt at getting better at it.
That's cool.
I only try to get extraordinary at the things I'm already naturally good at. And I adopted that probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and that's been a big game changer for me.
Yeah.
I just gave up on if I suck at something, you know, I studied all year. If I'm really successful, now I'm going to be moderate at it. So what?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a well, pardon my
no, you're good.
Nobody gives a about moderate.
Yeah.
You know, nobody ever got rich being moderate, right? So I just want to do what I do better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, those one or two things.
Absolutely. Going back to the first topic of getting there before everyone else, what were some industries you got in early, and how did you identify those opportunities?
You know, weirdly enough, looking back at life, every time I've really done well, it's been because I caught a wave. Timing. I don't think that gray matter matters. I don't think hard work matters nearly as much. It matters, of course, you know, diligence matters, but it's kind of just being in the flow, right? So my first business was a jewelry business. It was on a push cart in a mall. Well, push carts in malls didn't exist when I started. It was a brand new thing. And I was like, wow, I can get a space in the hallway where people have to walk by me for $700 a month in a mall with 30,000 people walking through every day. I'm going to get rich. And I did. I did extraordinarily well. I had 42 of those things by the time I was legally able to buy beer.
Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
Now I tried to operate them, and I went straight to bankruptcy.
Yeah. What were they selling?
I lost all my money. Jewelry.
Oh, jewelry.
There were jewelry carts in malls like you see today. They're all over the place. But it was a new concept then. I did really well with that.
Wait, you said you lost it all, though?
I lost it all.
What happened?
I operated them. I operated those businesses, and I didn't know. I was really young and stupid. I didn't know anything about, you know, inventory controls and shrinkage and employee theft and all that stuff. I got employee theft in that particular business
because there's no cameras; they're just stealing whatever.
A little bitty thing. So I got tore up in there, but I learned. You know, I got beat up, learned a lesson. I sucked my thumb for a little bit, and got back on the pony, and I got into manufacturing of gourmet coffees and gourmet chocolates when fancy foods were really popular and did really well, and bath products when Bath and Body Works was just starting and did really well. And then I got into selling online in I don't know if you were born yet.
I probably
in 1997.
That was when I was born.
You were born in 97?
Yeah.
So I started selling online in 97. The year you were born, I started selling online.
I didn't know it existed back then.
It barely did. Amazon really went online in 96, and I was on right after them. In fact, there's a good story. Jeff Bezos called me to buy my company.
You serious?
Personally called me to buy my company in 1999, I think.
What was the company?
They were craftstore.com.
Okay.
And they pitched me the vision of Amazon's a bookstore. I'm reading about, Wall Street Journal. You're losing $1 million a day. I'm making money. Why would I possibly sell to you for your worthless stock?
Right.
That was about a $700 million mistake.
Oh my God. So he only offered stock?
Yeah, it was stock. It was stock and enough cash to pay the tax on the stock. And
Got it.
But like a advisory seat at Amazon, God knows where that would have taken.
Whoa.
It could have went anywhere, right?
Do you still regret that, or did you get over it?
Yeah, no, I totally regret it. I totally regret it. Believe me, I totally regret it. And so I did that, and then we just the online really caught on for me. I bought a lot of stuff like rubberstamps.com and dryraceboard.com, and I was always a domainer, buying high-profile domains and building e-com properties, and I did swapped a lot of dollars, and I got in the supplement business, and almost went to jail in that business.
Right.
In the I guess that was 2008.
Yeah, the government seized all your products.
Seized everything I had in the world, all my property, all my money, a local state government. I was in total federal compliance with everything, but a state government and in fact a county government.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much power there is there.
What was the product that they didn't like you selling?
They didn't. I was in Tennessee.
Yeah.
They just didn't like me selling supplements. There was a lot more scrutiny on the supplement business back then than there is now. It wasn't as widely as accepted.
Yeah, now I just go on Amazon and buy.
Now, I wasn't selling anything you can't buy on Amazon today with exactly the same claims, right? But it was just a different time, and I wasn't following the letter of the law. And the biggest mistake that I made was making a lot of money because I was doing, $3-4 million a month, and it was enough money to, and I was an frankly. I'm living in Memphis, Tennessee, that has a fairly high poverty level, and I'm driving a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce and 3 Hummers and live in an 11,000-foot house and all this. I just an right. So you attract a lot of attention,
right?
And nobody's going to come to your rescue,
Yeah.
He's being abused by the government in his Ferrari. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I made a deal and got out of that and got out of there, and then went to Austin, Texas with Ryan Dice and started digitalmarketer.com, and we became the largest digital marketing training company in the world.
And one of the biggest masterminds in the world, which is what I want to dive into. You have a talent of just connecting the brightest minds. Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys. How were you able to scale those masterminds?
It's harder than you think, and it's really a curation process. A friend of mine, Kevin Nations, told me one time, it's one of the most brilliant things about a mastermind I ever heard. You don't join a country club because of who's inside. You join a country club because of who's not inside, right? So people want to be in a group where they're not annoyed by people that are climbers, basically, that are trying to take something from them.
Right.
They need to feel like it's a group of peers. One is enough to screw a whole mastermind up.
Wow, just one person.
One. You gotta pluck the out really, really, really fast.
The people that are just trying to take from the members.
You got to get them out.
Yeah.
You got to get them out. Hopefully, you never let them in. But some people get in, But I've been really lucky with that. I think War Room was probably the longest running mastermind in history. We did
13 years.
13 years, and with everybody still thrilled and wanting to be a part of it at the very end. We were at our peak. We went out on top, and then but it was always about really a lot of it was about curation, selection of the people inside. You just can't let everybody in.
Right.
You can't. If they, no matter if they want to pay or not, you get people. We have people that inherited money, and they'd show up and they got a big check, and sometimes they would get in. We make it expensive as a barrier, right?
What was the price on that one?
$40,000 a year.
And you had 100 people.
No, we had 200 people in there.
Damn. So that's, what is that? $8 million a year?
Yeah, about $8 million a year.
Wow.
And then the one I have now, we limited it to 100. I thought 200 was a little too big.
It is pretty big. I've been in one that had 100, and even that was pretty. I didn't even meet everyone, honestly.
Well, 100, you typically don't. Not everybody comes to each meeting, right?
Right.
So the one we have now, Driven Mastermind, it does. We're at 100. We're sold out in it right now, but it's we've got 100. But at an average live meeting, about 60 people.
Got it.
Will come. But we do a weekly call. So we do a call every week, and then we do an annual retreat and a bunch of workshops. So there's a lot to do over the course of the year. But so we kind of spread it out to where you get to kind of a la carte pick where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So we don't have. It's very rare that we have everybody at one function.
Yeah.
So 100's a manageable number because what you really get 60 or 70, and you just kind of make sure there's a lot to watch out for. They're very delicate groups, and if you get something brewing in the group, there's no fault of yours. It could be a conflict between two members. It's almost like churches.
Yeah, that's the one thing, right? Because I've been part of some masterminds where they present investment opportunities, investment goes to and then there's some animosity between members.
We absolutely never do that.
Yeah,
for that
that's
reason.
probably smart.
We absolutely never do that. One of the things that we've seen is conflicts, like competitiveness conflicts. So you're in real estate investing and I'm in real estate investing, and you have a good offer and you talk about it. Now I go back and kind of knock off your offer and things like that.
Got it.
Or poaching you bring an employee or key staff member and somebody else tries to poach your staff member.
That's not cool.
Or somebody tries to screw your wife or whatever the case may be.
Dude, there was a mastermind that did that.
It happens, man. And those are the things that you're babysitting millionaires,
Yeah.
I called my group, I always joke they're the misfit millionaires, because if they had friends, they wouldn't be at the mastermind,
And there's some ego at this level, a lot of successful people have egos.
You know who I am. I get my lady, we were having a meeting yesterday, runs a mastermind group for me, does all administration, Alyssa. She's fantastic. And she had a member at a thing. She said, do you realize who I am?
That's the worst line you could say.
Oh, well, I've trained her. She said, yeah, you're awesome. And so's everybody here.
Yeah.
So go take your damn seat and shut the up, right? It's like you can't be with people that are used to getting everything they want.
Yeah.
You can't you can't coddle them at all. You got to almost be hard on them.
Yeah.
Right? And be tough love with them.
Because there's a certain point where numbers don't really matter. It's like, how are you as a person?
Yeah. And are you here just to take? If you're here just to take, even if you're nice and you're here just to take, we're going to ask you not to come back.
Yeah.
Because because resentment will grow out of that.
For sure.
It's very delicate to manage those things and to grow them.
Yeah.
And you usually have to start with a big pool of clients, a big pool of people in your audience, and really filter down out of it. Because a lot of people say, well, I'm going to start my business by starting a mastermind. Well, you're surely going to fail.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a big enough basket to pick out of. Because you're trying to pick those perfect, shiny apples out of the basket and put them all in a special basket, right?
Exactly.
And if you don't have a big basket of apples to start, it's going to be very hard to find those shiny apples that you want. Yeah.
So you would recommend people to start smaller and then scale.
Yeah, and it's fairly easy if you have a small audience. Build a mastermind of 8, 10, 12 people. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that, We had, when Ryan and I started, we had 24. We had 48, exactly twice as many apply. Mm-hmm. And we decided back then we didn't want to be over 24. So the first we're-in was 24 people.
Wow.
And we stayed at 24 for a year, and then I think we went to 36, and it just kept creeping up. And I think it was fine because at 100, you had a bigger network to pull from, and it was good for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think beyond 100, it started washing out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know you're big on newsletters right now. Those are pretty hot. There's companies selling their newsletters for 8 figures.
It's the best business in the world right now, I think.
Yeah.
It's the catalyst. Everybody used to ask me all the time, if I hadn't done anything, where should I start? And I would start with a newsletter. It's so easy to get subscribers. It's so easy to get them to consume your content. It's the starting place for just about anything. Mm-hmm. write you write 750 word newsletter every day, and in 60 days you have a book, right? You got a book. Well, why don't you start a podcast? You've heard a podcast probably. I'm just joking. But yeah, why don't you start a podcast now? So it's the catalyst for everything, but it's the only asset right now that I think that really has this formulaic exit value. If you've got subscribers in X category, each active subscriber is worth XX at an exit. So you're building an asset that you can earn from and exit from, which is kind of rare in the digital space.
Yeah.
We built AI software to build newsletters. So we manage 19 daily newsletters now.
Wow.
Software. So it's a huge piece of what we do.
Yeah, I see guys like Sam and Sean selling their newsletters in under a
Sam
year.
Clark's killed it. Yeah.
Sean sold his in under a year, his
Yeah.
crypto newsletter. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap. There's not
Was
many.
that Milk Road?
I think so, yeah.
10 million in 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many businesses you could just do that with.
And to think about it, it's just a damn email.
Yeah. He
it's
even
just a
outsourced
newsletter.
everything. He wasn't even doing that much.
Did you see the exit on Industry Dive?
No, what was it?
525 million
Holy,
for
that was a newsletter?
for 28 digital newsletters.
Gee,
Isn't that crazy?
that's nuts.
But what they figured out was, their plastics dive, banking dive, pharmaceutical dive. So they're smaller subscriber list newsletters, but in super high value markets.
Yeah, the customer can spend a lot
yeah,
of money.
yeah. If your sponsor's buying a thing at the top of your newsletter for a $3 million X-ray machine, oh my gosh,
You're good.
I'm so sorry.
It happens.
Hey, Mom. Just kidding. But yeah, if you're, if you got a pharmaceutical newsletter and your advertiser's selling or selling docs on prescribing these companies come out with a new, they put $500 million in a marketing campaign for the first 12 months.
Right. Big company.
And it's newsletters, because there's established advertising platforms now. You don't really have to have anything to sell.
Yeah.
You can just create great content in a newsletter and get advertisers to support the newsletter much, much better than you ever could have blogged.
Yeah. And I like the model because you can literally outsource pretty much everything and just focus on growing the newsletter.
Yeah, we write most of it with write most of ours with AI. At least we start with AI, and sometimes we'll do these accumulative, like curated newsletters, kind of like the Drudge Report newsletter.
Yeah.
So we've got one that it's called the Capitalist, and you just 3 thumb swipes, and you get everything you learn from the Wall Street Journal in 3 thumb swipes.
Oh, that's cool.
So everything we do is try it in 3 thumb swipes. We want
Nice and quick.
Yeah, nice and quick. And then if they want to dive deeper into something, they're going off to somebody else's content generally that we didn't create, and we're fine with that.
Yeah.
We're just curating the best content for them for that particular day and presenting it in a way. And if they like our curation, we win, right? If they don't like our curation, we won't. I always say, like, if you had an ingrown toenail and it hurt you, and I clipped out a newspaper article from my local newspaper and sent it to you, and it cured your ingrown toenail, well, you're not going to be grateful to the newspaper. You're not going to be grateful to the guy that wrote the article. You're going to be grateful to me for sending it to you and identifying, hey, I remember you got a problem, and I'm here to fix it. So being a curator has a great deal of value, especially where in today's market where we're just inundated with every opinion under the sun. We're kind of most people are looking for somebody to give us clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you mainly focus on high ticket. When I made that switch from low ticket to high ticket offers, my life changed, honestly.
Yeah.
I used to sell $50 shirts. Now I don't do anything under $5,000.
Yeah.
And my life changed.
Yeah, I still have low ticket businesses, but generally speaking, I call them washouts, right? So we'll sell. I don't know if you know Lion's Not Sheep or not. That's not ours.
Yeah.
But they sell T-shirts into a $10,000 or $15,000 masterminds, right?
Right.
So I think that there's definitely a place for a low ticket business. The newsletter business is great for print on demand. We sell a lot of people into the print on demand business, but print on demand is very difficult to make money in.
Very.
So is drop shipping.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to acquire a customer for a physical good that identifies them as a thing. Like if you were going to sell a podcasting microphone, right, that you drop ship from Asia, and on the back of it go, hey, you want to be a podcaster?
Right.
Come give me X dollars and I'll teach you how to be a great podcaster. And that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can wash out you can lose money on the front of that. And the thing I like about physical just converts at such a higher rate than than digital front end products. You know, physical will always convert 3-4 times better, not 300-400% better.
Wow.
On the front end. So I'd rather sell you a T-shirt that says "Kiss the Podcaster," and then say, "Oh, you're a podcaster. Well, why don't you join my podcasting mastermind or whatever?" It's a much better way to bring a lead in.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think where people struggle is they just sell the physical with no pipeline down the road.
Well, they copy me. A lot of people copy my business model, thinking I'm going to go sell that $5 widget like Perry does, and I'll get rich. And they just burn all their money up in traffic, and they go away in a couple of weeks.
How does that make you feel when you see people copying your exact business model?
Absolutely don't mind at all.
You don't mind it?
No, I teach everything that I teach the people. Please go use it. Do it. I mean, it's a huge universe, dude. It doesn't bother me in the least. I think
you could teach a lot, but very few will actually implement it too.
Very few. And sometimes I'll have business partners or advisors be like, man, don't tell them about that. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody does well with it, they're going to probably go on to spend a lot more money with me.
Right.
If they learn an idea. You know, I'm really very big into the give away the idea, sell the implementation. And because I think the market for ideas is overflowing, right?
It's too much.
Clearly. So everybody's still trying to get money out of it. Oh, my idea is worth blank. Well, your idea is not worth without execution, right?
Yeah.
So give away your brilliant ideas. Show people how smart you are, and maybe they'll take it. Some are going to take it and run with it on their own, and God bless them. I hope they do well.
Yeah.
You know, most won't. Most are going to be like, because being a Sherpa to people is another great skill. Like if you went to climb Everest tomorrow, if you decided that was a goal you were going to, there's no way you would do it without a Sherpa.
Right.
You know, you see those pictures of the little guy standing on the top of the hill with the frozen snot hanging out of his nose and shivering, and he's got 9 layers of whatever on, and he's dying. He's at the top of Everest going, "Made it, Mom," you know. And then there's a little Nepalese guy standing behind him carrying a 200-pound knapsack and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, get your picture, dude. We got to go back down. I got another guy coming up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
It's just, so that guy, it's just Tuesday, right? So people will pay for a Sherpa if they're smart. Dumb people won't, which is good because it filters the dumb people out, you know?
Yeah, you never want to cheap out on education because it's one of the fastest ways to grow.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when they go to higher ticket, when they go to selling to more experienced business people or what have you, or more affluent people. Most of the time when people are at that level, they've already bought into the concept. They're probably already pretty educated. What they're buying is the same thing you're buying when you get the Sherpa going up Everest, right? You're buying mistake avoidance. That's the most high ticket. You got to change the way you think because low ticket products are curiosity, confidence. You might get some software that gives you speed and ease, right? But when you get to advisory and you're selling, you know, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 engagements, or like me saying, give me some equity in your business, you know, I'll help you do whatever if you give me some equity in your business. When you get to that point, I hardly ever get somebody that calls me and says, "Hey, Perry, how do I do blank?" What I typically get is, "Hey, Perry, we're about to do blank. What do you think?" You know, and that's because I'm old and I got experience, right? It sucks because you get old and you got all this damn experience and capital and resources, but I don't have the energy, right? You got energy, but a lot of people your age have energy, but they don't have capital and resources, and they certainly don't have experience and wisdom of just been beat out of you 1,000 times. You eventually learn a lot about what not to do, right? But so it's great when I compare with young, energetic folks, and I'll give them the idea. I'll give them the business model. I'll give them everything if they don't have one. Because oftentimes their idea sucks.
Yeah.
And I've got things over here I've already proven out I know will work. I just need a jockey to go ride that horse. You know?
Right.
So, but yeah, it's a fun world.
Yeah.
That's why I like being minority. Let the young guy or the young lady that's got all the energy and the smarts, let them have the lion's share of the win. I'll have my little, as old Bradley says, just a little piece for your niece, a little tad for Brad. Right?
And it's cool that you could speak from experience because you've lost everything multiple times.
Oh yeah,
so you know all the big mistakes.
Fortunately, not in about 16 years. I'm on a pretty good run.
I think you're good now. I think
I'm good.
3 strikes is good.
Yeah, I'm about 16 years of running good right now. So
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But you hear a lot of guys that are successful, they lose everything at least once.
I think you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to. And a lot of those guys get beat up and they're washed out and they're done. You know, they tuck the tail and that's the end of they get too hurt. They don't want to get back on the pony again. I've been fortunate. I've never had a job, right, my whole life. And I grew up in a housing project in Paducah, Kentucky. So I grew up dirt poor. Mom was a nurse's aide and all that, and as rough a life as you could imagine. But I just refused to have jobs growing up. I started a lawn business when I was 14. I was selling split tag polo shirts out of the back of my car when I was 16. You know, I had jewelry stores by the time I was 18. I just never saw the idea of having a job as a good idea for me. I think it's a very good idea for the vast majority of people.
Right.
I'm of the belief that only about 5% of people should be in business. That they just don't have the wherewithal for it.
You got to think differently.
Well, they don't have that brain. They don't have that farmer's brain, hunter's brain. Farmers don't have as many receptors in the back of their brain to receive praise as farmers do. And most people are farmers. 12,000 years ago, agricultural revolution happened, and most people realized they could have a much easier, safer life if they dropped a seed in the ground and put a pin in an animal and lived in a farmhouse. It was a much safer life than walking around seeing if the bear's going to eat you or not.
Yeah, I was watching videos of farmers during the Great Depression. They weren't even affected.
Yeah.
They just had their farms.
Yeah. It's crazy. If there's a book by Doug Brockman called Driven, it's really, really good. And it talks a lot about the farmer and the hunter brain. The book's pretty good. The first 3 chapters of the book are extraordinary. If you're an entrepreneur, read it because you'll just be blown away by how
I got to check that out.
Yeah, how you'll think that he's talking to you inside your head.
That's awesome.
Everything that resonates with entrepreneurs, he's figured out, and most of it has to come down to that serial entrepreneurism is all the hunter brain looking for what's on the horizon,
That's
going
cool.
out on the hunt.
Man, it's been a great episode. Anything you want to close off with, promote? Any events coming up?
I got nothing to promote. I do an AI Bot Summit every year, but I don't think we've set dates yet for next year. It's going to be in March.
Okay.
I do some workshops every now and then. If they want that AI software, that newsletter software, it's letterman.ai, and it's free until, I think, next year.
Cool. We'll put it in the description. And you got a mastermind coming up for 6-figure earners?
Yeah, I got 6-figure earner mastermind. It's called Ignite. There's not even a site for it yet. We're basically sold out. And
Wow, 1,000 people?
Driven's completely sold out. So I think we're by the time we put the website up for Ignite, I think we'll be full.
It's a good problem to have, man.
It's crazy. It's been a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
And I just think I've been around a long time too. I think some people just buy whatever I'm doing because they know me. They've had good return.
That's awesome. To have that reputation, it takes years.
Yeah, it helps. Right?
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, see you next time.